Okay, seminar two coming back to you from the English language dungeon in Litomyjice. Want to go over Michael Vent's words and phrases, units 9 through 10. There's not a lot of vocabulary in here. There's some of it will find its way on your credit test. So again, I just want to sort of encourage you to pay attention, first of all, to the vocabulary that is in the lecture notes, not only from this unit, but the unit before that is on the Moodle. So pay attention to those vocabulary. If there are certain vocabulary exercises in Vents that are not in the lecture notes, then yeah, it's good to look at them, but focus primarily on what we see here in the lecture notes. The caveat, or what I'm trying to make clear, though I want to make clear, is that, so for example, if we have like phrasal verbs that begin with bring, and in the lecture notes, you'll see, like 5 examples. That doesn't mean you only need to know those 5. You also need to know the 4 or 5 more that Vince has in his unit. Okay, so that's kind of important. And I just want you to, again, to be prepared for your credit test, because this is not beer, by the way, bohužel, but I do want everyone to be prepared. And I really feel if you go through the lecture notes and listen to these video lectures, as painful as they might be, that you will, and spend time with the text, you'll be prepared. And again, always feel free to contact me with questions or concerns. So let's just go ahead and kind of jump into these last little bits here. From Michael Vent's words and phrases. I'm calling it more hot vocab. It's not that hot. And but yeah, 9 and 10, we talked about that. Let's go here. We have expressions with think. I'm not going to spend a lot of time with this because I think Vents, again, like I spoke about in the last lecture, what you really want to do is, Vents is a great self-study book. The answers to the exercises are in the back, so you can check them. And especially when it gets down to forming new words, like last lecture, we talked about verbs are words that we change to an ing ending, like overriding or misunderstanding. So the formulation he can help you with in the back, and then the meaning, like I always tell my students, is that it's good to know the definition, I suppose, but really it's better to know what those words connect to in context. And that's where real meaning of words start to take place, and a real better understanding. So we have these things here: have second thoughts, a thought, thoughtful, thoughtfully, unthinkable, thoughtlessly, thoughtless and thoughtlessly rethink. And here we have this thoughtless and thoughtlessly. This thoughtlessly is an adverb. What does an adverb do? It's not a verb, but it expresses and gives us more information about how the verb operates. Okay, let me say that again. The adverb gives us more information and expresses something more about how the verb operates. So he thoughtlessly told his mom that her goulash wasn't good. Thoughtlessly told. So that the verb is tell, and thoughtlessly means like he didn't think about it. All right. So the adverb, and like here we have thoughtless, which is not an adverb at all. The ly is what tells us it's an adverb. Very often that's the format that an adverb takes, but not always. So and I'm telling you this because this is in this little exercise with expressions that use think. And we, part of the examples that Vince gives us is, which is, I think, kind of useful in a way. We have thoughtful and thoughtfully. If he's a very thoughtful person, or she is a very thoughtful person, there, it's an adjective that tells us like that they think about things, and they're kind and they're polite, they're thoughtful. All right, she's very thoughtful. She never forgets a birthday. She's always there with an SMS when someone's feeling bad. And then, but we can say that she thoughtfully brought over a plate of lasagna when she knew her neighbors were sick. Thoughtfully brought. Okay, so the thoughtfully bring this is the adverb. A lot of this you guys should know. Vince is going to explain this. I think these, thoughtless, again, use Google. Because Google, if you're using you, so go ahead and use it. We have expressions with give. These are fairly simple. A lot of the vocabulary that Vince gives us is fairly simple for you guys at this stage. What I do think that is useful on some level is like how it's structured. Like last lecture, we talked about have a do and make do. And that little a in there, have a do, is important. And that's one of the things that we want, again, I want to reiterate that you want to pay attention to when we're using these expressions. Give birth, I think we know what that is. Give way, give me any trouble, give your mom any trouble, give your parents any trouble. Give one assurances. That's kind of a difficult one. Give one assurances, like I was really surprised when he didn't show up to the wedding because he gave me assurances that he would be there. Like he's like, no, 100%, I'm coming. Don't worry, bro, I'll be there. He gave me assurances that he would be at the wedding. All right. Give notice means that you are, when you walk, Franta went into his boss's office and gave notice and said he would be leaving his job next month. You give notice, you resign, and you give someone the impression. I think we know that when expressions would put, also fairly easy, put a stop to something, put to a vote, put the blame on, put at ease, put to the test. These, again, events have very fine explanations, and Google is really where you're going to help the exercises. The thing is, you guys just have to take the time to go over them. Your English is good enough to sort of sort them out. Again, focus on the vocabulary that is in these units. So all of the expressions with put that are in there, focus on that. And we have expressions with run. And again, some of these are good. Some of these are quite useful. And here was a little exercise I recommend. We'll connect these right now. We have run in the family, run riot, run on a bank, a run of good luck or bad luck, run your eye over something. And again, this is where these details matter. You can't say run good luck. You need to say a run and good luck. You need a run of good luck. These details matter in English because if you leave the of out, it can change and your listener can be confused. And on your test, a lot of you are going to make that mistake and you'll miss a point. Okay, so but what do these mean? So we have what runs in your family. All right, so these are actually not examples what I have here. And if something runs in the family, it's like, so my uncle who lives in Wisconsin, they're all very talented musicians, and being talented musician runs in their family. Like he's a singer, his wife plays guitar, the kids one of them actually is in a band that toured America a couple times. And so being talented musically runs in the family. Okay, it can be a talent, and it can also be like, yeah, they're all tall. Everyone in that tall family's tall. It runs in the family. Run riot means they're just going crazy. You guys know what a riot is? Just going crazy. Those kids at the Shkolka, I picked up my daughter and they were just running riot in there, making noise, running around. The teachers weren't even in the room. The kids were running riots. And a run on a bank. What's a run on a bank? It's not a good thing. A run on a bank is when, uh-oh, there's a rumor. JSO Bay doesn't have any cash. They're going bankrupt. And you've got 40,000 crowns that you've worked hard for, that you've saved. And it's in the bank, and you're going to go the next day and get that money out of the bank. And you tell your friend, and you tell your mom and your dad and your uncle and your grandma, and they have money in JSO Bay, and they go to get their money out. And it's not only in Teplice and Litoměřice, it's also in Hodonín, and it's in Brno and Olomouc, and it's all over the country. And everybody goes to JSO Bay to get the money out of the bank. And is the money in the bank? No. Because that's not how banks work anymore. They don't have the money, the cash sitting there in the bank. They have their money invested in other banks and in other things, and in the money they've loaned out to people, and they don't have the cash. But if everybody goes in and wants that cash at that time, one time, that bank is going to go bankrupt. And that's called a run on the bank. That's what happened in the 1930s during the Great Depression. There was a run on a lot of banks, and the banks went bankrupt, and people lost whatever little savings they had in those days. So now, a run of good luck or a run of bad luck. And again, the structure here is, you guys learn it, pay attention to the detail. Run of good luck. He sat down at the blackjack table, and he just kept getting good card after good card after good card. He had a run of good luck. He had a run of good luck, or a run of bad luck. Seemed like everything that was possible to happen bad to Tobias happens. It's like his boss, his phone fell out of his pocket and broke. He was late for work. He got stopped by the police on the way and had to pay a fine. His boss got mad because he was late and he missed a meeting. And he tripped coming down the stairs out of work the afternoon, broke his ankle. He had a run of, it's like a run of bad luck. A run of good luck. And if you run your eye over something, you basically just like, hey, I just wrote this really incredible essay for Drew Brandon, and I think it's pretty good, but I'm worried about the grammar. Can you run your eye over it? And just look at it, right? Run your eye over, have a look at it, and make sure, it's not like read it in detail, but just like have a glance, run your eye over it. Now, I think I have one more in here, phrases with under, and yep, phrases with under. And what are the best options? We have undergoing treatment, an undertaker. That's someone's job, everyone wants that job. Understaffed, undercharged, underlying cause. We talked about these verbs, or these words with underlying, with ing in them in the previous lecture. Underfed and underhanded. Now, here are words that might help you connect, and we want you to connect them. So we have the real reason something happens would be the underlying cause. That would be the underlying cause. And if there are, so what is the underlying cause? What was the underlying cause of, the Velvet Revolution in 1989? What was, was it freedom that Czech kids wanted freedom, or what were the underlying causes of the collapse of communism in 1989? And, people talk about that. I mean, the system just didn't seem to be working economically for its people. There's a lot of discussion there, but what these real causes are, what's the underlying cause of the breakup? What was the underlying cause between the breakup of Boženka and I? And like, really, yeah, we didn't understand each other. All right. Not enough people means understaffed. understaffed. There's not enough people in the office. They need 3 or 4 more workers. That company's understaffed, 3 or 4 workers. Sneaky. He's a sneaky old guy. He is underhanded. You can't trust him. He's underhanded. He's a sneaky old guy. Chemotherapy. Yeah, I hope none of you ever go through that. It's a rough thing. And that means undergoing treatment in the hospital. That's would be all kinds of different treatments that you go through. If you have, you're trying to rehabilitate a knee or a leg or something, that's also a kind of treatment. And sorry, you made, my mistake. Oh, sorry, you made a mistake. Here's another 50 crowns. Like, that's bad grammar. That's my fault, my bad. Sorry, you made a mistake. Here's another 50 crowns. So this is the waitress comes to you, and she gives you the money back, and you're like, oh, wait, you gave me too much. And then here's another 50 because she undercharged you. She undercharged you. She didn't charge you enough. And if someone is skinny, they are underfed. Skinny old cat, stray cat outside, underfed. And if you work with dead people, you are an undertaker. Okay, you get them ready for burial, especially if there's an open casket. You treat them up and put makeup on and their clothes. You are an undertaker. Okay, now again, you guys, these are the words I recommend highlighting from this unit. Look at them though, and look at they're pretty small units, but I do again, use Google to learn not the definition of these words, but learn what these words mean in context and what other words they connect to. All right, so that's all for this lecture. And again, contact me if you guys have any questions or any concerns or about your credit test or anything with these units. That's all for now, and take care. Take care.